Hey boys and girls, this is Wildman Willis here, and I'm doing a review of the new movie 10 Cloverfield Lane. Well, I don't want to give too much away about this movie because I want those who want to go see it not be spoiled about anything, but this movie is related to the Cloverfield series, and I'm glad the trailers doesn't show anything really but the initial premise. But all in all, a lot of people saying this is a good movie, and I have to agree with a lot of people. This is a great movie. John Goodman plays the hell out of this movie. He is creepy as all get out. But as the movie goes on, you can understand why he is the way he is. But I don't want to go into that too much. Creepy atmosphere does have ties to the original Cloverfield while you're watching the movie. My all in all impressions is I went to see this in IMAX 3D and it was pretty good. Of course with IMAX, the sound. The sound is what gets you, is when stuff starts rumbling and all that other stuff going on that I don't want to go into because I don't want to ruin the movie for people that want to see it. But it's well worth going to see it. If you can't see in the IMAX, you wouldn't be missing but so much. But if you can, just for the sound quality alone, IMAX is worth it. So everybody play their part. Basically, it is a 3-person ensemble. So you got to deal with those 3 people in the movie. I don't want to go into too much, but everybody played their role pitch perfectly. And for those looking for little Easter eggs about what's going on with the whole Cloverfield connection, you can see if you pay attention to a lot of stuff going on. So I implore everybody that wants to go see this movie, don't look up online reviews that's giving you spoilers. Just go see the movie blind and just pay attention to what was in the preview, and that's it. This is Wildman Willis signing off. See you next time. Hey boys and girls, this is Wildman Willis here, and I'm doing a review of the remake of The Jungle Book by Walt Disney Studios. And basically, this is the retelling of the 1967 cartoon classic The Jungle Book in live action. And all I got to say is, this movie proves that they could do a live action CGI Lion King movie if they ever decide to want to remake it into live action. This movie proves you can make CGI animals look almost like they're taken right out of the zoo and put on a sound stage. So that's how well animated the characters are. Everybody knows the story of The Jungle Book. It's about a little boy raised by wolves, and the evil tiger of the land, Shere Khan, has a grudge against this man cub and wants to kill him. So that's basically the story of The Jungle Book. It follows the same beats as the 67 cartoon, with wonderful voice casting of the main animals. The outstanding ones to me is Bill Murray as Lovable Baloo singing the bare necessities, got the bare necessities. And my man Christopher Walken as King Louie is a treat to see. And if you pay attention, there is a cowbell joke in there if you pay close attention. what's going on in the movie. Look out for that. Scarlett Johansson playing the evil snake was just excellent, and I suggest that if you're be able to watch this in IMAX 3D, it is worth it, especially for the sound quality in certain parts of the movie. And from what I know, this movie was basically done all green screen in a studio. And you can't even tell. It looks like a real jungle. Everything looks real. You can't even tell that the little boy is acting with a CGI character because the graphics are done so well. Everything looks so seamless and perfect. So my only thing about the movie is little kids might be scared because some of the battles in the movie are very intense. But if they don't mind about that, they'll be alright. I say anybody that is a Disney fan will definitely enjoy this movie. I'm not truly a Disney fan, but I was enjoying myself from beginning to end. So go see The Jungle Book this weekend. And the movie was better than Batman vs. Superman. So that tells you something too. This is Wildman Willis signing off. See you next time. Hey boys and girls, this is Wildman Willis here, and I'm doing a review of The Conjuring 2, The Further Adventures of Ed and Lorraine Warren, played perfectly by Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson. This movie is chronicling a case over in England right after they just got finished with doing the Amityville Horror House up in New York City with the Lutz family. And basically it's a little girl being possessed by a ghost in the house. And my thoughts of the movie was, it was a pretty good movie when it had me jumping maybe once or twice, because I normally don't jump in horror movies. So that's a plus for me. The acting was pretty well done. The kids was very believable, and I also like the fact that they let the kids be kids in school. So you don't see that too much in the movies anymore. Having the kids act like how we used to act when we was in school. So it was cool. It had the 70s aesthetic, so nothing looked out of place. Everything 70s looked 70s. But of course, you know, you had kids playing with toys that looked like it was older than what they were supposed to be actually having. But it made sense because this family was poor and had issues. So special effects was good. The storyline flowed very evenly. Nothing seemed out of place or anything. It wasn't really gory because nobody got killed, but this is a haunting movie. But the visual effects in it, to me, was top notch. With the CG creations were noticeable in some parts, but it gave it that eerie, ghostly feel to the movie. And I always like when the credits are rolling with the Conjuring films, they actually show what the real people look like. So after going to see this movie, if you're interested in more about that case, you probably can go online and look it up because this is based on a true story. Of course, you know they had embellished a lot of stuff, so the movie wouldn't be a 45 or 50-minute movie. So, of course, this might lead to another Conjuring film, not because of the end of the movie. It's just the fact that the Warrens have a lot of cases that they can go in. So all they got to research is another case to make it into another movie. So That's my review of The Conjuring 2. This is Wildman Willis signing off. See you next time. Hey boys and girls, this is Wildman Willis here, and I'm doing a review of Star Trek Beyond. Well, my thoughts on the movie was, it was pretty action-packed. It made up for Star Trek Into Darkness. This one feels more in tone of Star Trek than the last movie. Everybody played their roles pretty cool. Idris Elba as the bad guy was pretty neat to see. I enjoyed the storyline that was going on. The special effects was good, and if you get a chance to see it in IMAX 3D, I suggest you see it in IMAX 3D for those that can watch movies in 3D. The plot was pretty interesting. I enjoyed the fact that it felt like old school Star Trek, where they was actually exploring space and new life and new civilizations, like the old school Star Trek. That was cool. I also enjoyed many of the characters in the movie. Of course, Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, and my man Carl Urban playing the Holy Trinity of Star Trek to a T. I also enjoyed the nice nod to the late great Leonard Nimoy in the movie. They actually followed up with Spock actually being dead in that particular universe. So, and also gave a little nice nod to old school Star Trek fans out there. So, if you get a chance to go see it, you would not be disappointed in Star Trek Beyond. This is Wildman Willis signing off. See you next time. Hey boys and girls, this is Wildman Willis here, and as you can see by the mask and the t-shirt, I'm doing a review of the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, Out of the Shadows. Well, this is another Platinum Doom Michael Bay production, and surprisingly enough, this one was much better than the first one because they focused more on the turtles, and plus they had classic characters such as Bebop and Rocksteady and Krang. Man, I enjoyed this movie more than I did X-Men Apocalypse because I feel like this one knew what the source material was, wasn't scared to put it in the movie, and that what made the movie more fun to me than X-Men Apocalypse. But the basic story is Shredder gets out of jail and creates Bebop and Rocksteady with the help of Baxter Stockman, and they trying to bring Krang and the Technodrome to take over the world. And then Ninja Turtles must team up with April, newcomer Casey Jones, defeat the Foot Clan and Krang. Any points about the movie I won't go into. I'm not going to do spoilers, but sometimes the action was hard to see, but it didn't matter. It didn't affect me watching the movie. It was a very kinetic action movie. I wish the Ninja Turtles would have did a little bit more ninja action, but oh well. Megan Fox, I know a lot of people complain about her, but they cut her role down a lot, and the humans wasn't really that much of a focal point like the first one. And it looked like they cleaned up the turtles to make them not as scary looking as they was in the first one. And Master Splinter looked more like a rat than he did in the first one. So whoever was the director and stuff must have heard what a lot of the fans complained about. So I don't know how well this is going to do in the box office, but it seemed like it would do pretty good because the cartoon is real hot right now. And surprising enough, one of the breakout stars of me was WWE superstar Sheamus. The personality that he had in here, I wish it would translate over to the wrestling world because he is still right now wrestling. So, special effects was pretty good. I went to see this in IMAX 3D, and surprisingly enough, the 3D was popping a lot in this movie. They had stuff pointing out at you, which you don't see too much anymore. So, kind of cool to see it in IMAX 3D. I had a ball watching this movie. For a lot of die-hard Turtle fans, they do a lot of things that service them. And the plot was the plot. It's a Ninja Turtles movie. Don't expect Shakespeare or anything like that. But they gave heart to the characters a little bit more than what they did in the last one. Now, only had one fart joke, so that was good. Not to see all the fart jokes and nasty jokes like they was trying to pull off in the first one. But all in all, it felt like they was in real New York City and not fake New York City like a lot of movies do. So they did film a lot in New York City. So that's cool. So any die-hard Turtle fan, go see this movie because you will enjoy it. And all I got to say is Turtle Power, baby boy. This is Wildman Willis signing off. See you next time. Hey boys and girls, this is Wildman Willis here, and I'm doing a review of the new horror thriller, Don't Breathe. Well, basically, the plot is three robbers are trying to get their last heist to get out of town, and they decide to go rob this blind man and get more than what they bought him for. All the performances in the movie are nice, spot on, and it's nice and quick and to the point. There's no filler in the movie. You'll understand what everybody's motivations is. It's not a movie that drags out at all. It starts out a little bit slow to draw out the suspense, but once everything gets going, it's just quick and easy and to the point. Of course, to me, the breakout star of the movie is Stephen Lang. He needs to be in more stuff, so hopefully he will be Cable. That would be my perfect casting for that particular new Deadpool movie that's coming out, part 2. But like I said, everybody's motivations was clear and to the point. I had no issues with the movie. Nobody did anything stupid. And my only thing I got to ding is the dog in the movie. Sometimes he looked like he was happy to be running towards people at points. That's my only negative out of the whole movie. But anybody that wants to go see this movie, you won't feel bad about it because it's just so quick and to the point. And these are the people that made the remake to Evil Dead, which I applaud them for that one too. So everybody go see this movie and give it its due because it really deserves it for us horror fans to go see it. And it's rated R, so you can't get too many rated R horror movies at the movies anymore. So go support that. This is Wildman Willis signing off. See you next time. Hey boys and girls, this is Wildman Willis here, and I'm doing a review of Marvel Studios' Doctor Strange. Well, any comic book fan knows the original origin of Doctor Strange, and it basically fits it to a T. Benedict Cumberbatch is just perfect as Doctor Strange. Everybody played their role pretty good. Tilda Swinton was just excellent as the Ancient One. I know people got complained that it wasn't Asian like in the original comic book, but that was back in the 60s. Then if they would have followed the book, they would have been like, why are they making fun of Asian people? So I'm glad that she was a Celtic Ancient One instead of being an Asian Ancient One. So that's pretty cool to see. One thing I must say, this is a very action-packed movie. You won't be bored at all with the movie. The special effects are excellent. If you get a chance, please see this in IMAX 3D. That's the best way possible to see this movie because of all the crazy special effects going on in the movie. And it is connected to the rest of the Marvel universe, surprising enough, because they drop little hints here and there if you pay attention to stuff. And you got two stingers, one in the beginning and one at the end, so please stay around for them. When you get a chance to go see this movie, so it's almost a 2-hour movie, only shy of 5 minutes, so it doesn't drag out. All the character developments between everybody was pretty good. And they actually developed Baron Mordo's character. So he has a story arc from beginning, middle, to end. And it makes sense of how everything was run. I'm not going to tell you why because I'm not going to spoil the movie for you, but any Marvel Comics fan, and especially any Doctor Strange fan, will be very proud of how they portray Doctor Strange in this movie. So, if you're not going to see Doctor Strange this weekend, you're missing out. Go see it now. And that's it. This is Wildman Willis signing out. See you next time. Hey boys and girls, this is Wildman Willis, Darth Willis, doing a review of Star Wars Rogue One. This thing is just too hot, and y'all ain't gonna hear what I'm saying. So, here is the review of the first of many Star Wars stories that's going to be coming out between the regular saga movies. And basically, this story is the telling of how the Rebels got the original plans to the Death Star. And let me tell you, basically, this is Disney's make good of them cruddy prequels we had to sit through back in the day. Any Star Wars fan basically knows the story of how the plans got to the Death Star to the Rebels, but they didn't actually see what happened. And this movie actually shows how this happens. And for real, to be honest with you, you don't need to watch the prequels anymore. Just watch this and go right into Star Wars Episode A New Hope, and you're just fine. And this movie basically makes Darth Vader the scary, scary bad guy that he needs to be, because the prequels just basically ruin that for everybody, because they basically show he was just a spoiled brat that didn't get his way. And that's why he turned into Darth Vader. Nobody wants that. I don't want that. So I've seen some complaints online that people didn't get a chance to really know these characters. But if you watch the movie, I'm not going to spoil it for you. Does it really matter? Because honestly, we all know that how things happen, the reason why that comes to be. So that is like a little minor complaint. They drop little hints of stuff with characters here and there that showed up in the original trilogy, but it wasn't nothing that it was took away from the movie because it needed to be there because of how things go in the New Hope with certain characters showing up. So I know it's just really good to see a more adult themed Star Wars movie because this is putting the wars back into Star Wars. Because let me put it like this: this is the Saving Private Ryan version of Star Wars. So if all the different side Star Wars movies like this have different tones, then I will go see every last one of them. The action is great. The last 30 or 40 minutes of the movie is just awesome. Just action-packed from beginning to end. The fights in space are just beautiful. You can see all your favorite ships fighting each other. Just a fun movie. If you're a Star Wars fan, just go see it. It doesn't matter what format. I seen it in IMAX 3D. The 3D show pretty good. It's more of depth than stuff popping out at you. But if you're not a 3D fan, just go see it in IMAX. Just see it on the biggest screen possible. Everybody's acting was pretty cool. And to me, it was two standouts in the movie. It was the robot and my man, Ant-Man was in the movie. Kicking all kind of butt. If you know Donnie Yen, how well he is in his movie. So basically put Ant-Man in a Star Wars movie and you got the character. So pretty cool to see a nice, very diverse cast. So there is more than just white people in the Star Wars universe. So that's good to see. All in all, this is a very good start for new Star Wars fans. If you don't want them to really see the prequels, let them see this movie and then have them watch A New Hope. And they basically be caught up. And also this stuff goes on with Star Wars Rebels as well. So that has stuff tied into that. So that's pretty good for those fans that actually watch that show. I haven't really paid attention to it, so it didn't faze me one way or another, but just to know that that's in the movie for people, it's cool to see. So this is Wildman Willis signing off. See you next time. Time to make the chimichangas, baby. This is Wildman Willis doing his review of the new movie Deadpool. Well, finally Ryan Reynolds got his dream to make Deadpool the way he wanted to. And I have to say that this was well worth the wait. And it was an excellent comic book movie. More so a satire on the comic book movies more than anything else, in my eyes. So this is basically the origin story of Deadpool, and you see how he got the way he was. And basically it's the typical origin story, but it's rated R, so he can do whatever you want. And this is the first time in a long time that you got to see a comic book accurate X-Men costume in a movie. So, which was kind of cool to see. I wish that would carry over onto the new X-Men movies, but I don't think that will. But a lot of people touting this is one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. I can't really say that because it does the same thing as any other comic book movie, but they make fun of that, so which is cool. Get to see Deadpool break the fourth wall, which was cool. My only complaint was the bad guys wasn't memorable. After this movie, nobody will remember the bad guys. They'll just remember Deadpool, which could be a positive, which could be a negative. I don't know, but the action scenes was done really good. There's a lot of Easter eggs in this movie if you pay attention to what's going on. They do have a stinger at the end of the movie, so wait until the end, folks. So they did pull the Marvel move on this movie. And I love the love interest between Deadpool and his girlfriend, which is the girl that plays on Gotham right now, is Commissioner Gordon's girlfriend. So she looking good in the movie. And for the budget that this movie was made on, the effects was pretty cool. And we finally get a comic book accurate Colossus, and they did a good job with him for the budget that they was using in the movie. And I'm glad that the jokes were funny, and I'm glad the length of the movie wasn't too long, because after a while them jokes would start wearing on you after a while. So they made it right. It was under 2 hours, which it needed to be under 2 hours. So if it would have been more than 2 hours, I think the jokes would have got a little annoying. And that's about it. This is Wildman Willis signing off. See you next time. Hey boys and girls, this is Wildman Willis here, and I'm doing a review of Captain America Civil War. Well, this is the new installment in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and all I have to say is all the critics are telling the truth about this movie. This is one of the better superhero films I've seen in a long time, and it's well acted, well paced, a very straightforward story, no convoluted plot lines that don't go nowhere. The understanding of the characters that have been developed over the years in the movies and in the comic books as well. So that's also a good plus. And it's built up from many of the storylines that's been developed over the years in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And all other online saying that this is one of the better superhero fights. The airport scene, they are not lying at all. It was clear and crisp and clean, and you can see everything that was going on. It didn't really look CGI until at one certain point, but you can understand why. But it's one of the best looking superhero fights I've seen in a long time. And my highlight of the movie and what everybody else is talking about is one character in particular, and you will find out who that character is in a minute. Spider-Man does whatever Spider can. Things are right, and he sounds catches me. Yes, we finally got a true amazing Spider-Man, perfectly played by Tom Holland, and his portrayal of the character is what we all been waiting for since they put him on the screen. No disrespect for ones that done it before, but either they got the Peter Parker part right or the Spider-Man part, but not both. And it seemed like Tom Holland is in the body both of them because he's a kid, just like Spider-Man was in a comic book, a kid. A lot of people like the high school version of Spider-Man more so when he became the adult, because that's when many of his strongest storylines was when he was still in school. And hopefully they take that forward when they make the new Spider-Man movie that comes out. Other standout is Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther. He played it on point. And of course, all the other characters in the movie played it to a T because they're used to being them. And a lot of the people really embodied the spirit of Captain America and Iron Man and Winter Soldier and the Vision and everybody else in the cast. Give it up to the Russo brothers. They had so many characters to juggle, and they gave everybody a chance to shine, but still not take away that it is a Captain America movie. That's the most important part. Even though it's Civil War, it has all the characters, it still comes down to Captain America. And that's the most important thing about this movie. And if you're expecting anything from the storylines out of the actual comic book, you get some, but not a lot of other ones, because certain characters that's in the comic book is not able to be in the storyline, so don't be expecting that. That's not really a spoiler. Everybody should know that. And for those waiting around, it is 2 credit scenes. I won't go to what they is, so for those who want to wait around to see, you have a chance to. And one thing I'm happy about is the villain actually has a purpose in this movie, and his motivations are actually clear and precise and to the point. So I'm just happy all around with this movie. Civil War beat my expectations, and we'll be glad to see some of the characters that's in this movie pop up in their own movies. And this movie made up for all the bull crap and all the shortcomings and the plot points and the mixed characterizations that came along with Batman vs. Superman. And hopefully Civil War will be loved by fans and critics, which it seemed like it would be, and it make the money that it should. So this is Wildman Willis signing off. See you next time.